Hello, and congratulations on your selection to the NSCA Women's Committee Mentorship Program. We are so excited you've chosen to participate in our program, and we can't wait to begin to get to know you. In preparation for the beginning of the formal mentorship and for your first meeting with your mentor, we've prepared 2 training videos for you to go through. We feel that these videos will help direct your thoughts and intentions leading up to the first session, which we hope will set you on the course for the highest level of success within our program. So let's get started. As a mentee, we want to make sure that you are set up for success. So we've compiled a list of tasks we believe will help you to be as prepared as possible prior to the start of this experience. The first thing you can do in preparation for this mentorship experience is to conduct a strengths and weaknesses audit of yourself. This audit can include aspects of both your personal and professional life, but we want all the traits that you consider to be factors that ultimately have an impact on your career in some way. Conducting an audit like this will help you to develop a deeper awareness of where you're currently succeeding and what areas might need a little bit more attention. The second thing we recommend doing is to set and write down goals for yourself. There are 3 specific points in time that we'd like you to consider creating goals for. First, think of some goals you hope to accomplish within this mentorship. This might be something like finding comfortability with speaking in front of a group. Next, think of a little bit farther down the road. Immediately following this conclusion of the mentorship, what are some goals you would like to accomplish? Lastly, what long-term goals can you set for yourself now that can be impacted by this mentorship? Next, we want you to prepare yourself to be open to criticism and feedback. More specifically, we want you to approach this mentorship with a growth mindset. So what even is the growth mindset? This might be a term you've heard thrown around, so we want to go ahead and define it before moving on. A growth mindset is the belief that your talents can be developed through hard work. It's the ability to embrace challenges and learn from feedback. The opposite of this would be a fixed mindset, which rests on the idea that talents are innate traits that cannot be changed. A growth mindset is about valuing the process, whereas a fixed mindset focuses solely on the outcome. This makes the biggest difference when we look at how we view failures. In a growth mindset, failure is perceived as an opportunity to grow, whereas in a fixed mindset, failure indicates the limit of your abilities. Inevitably, there will be moments within this mentorship where you are faced with challenge or struggle. This likely will be highlighted in some way through feedback or criticism. Opening yourself up to the growth mindset will allow for greater growth when those moments do arise. The last piece of preparation for this mentorship is reflecting back on why you chose to participate in the first place. What factors drove you to sign up? What specific things are you hoping to gain from this? What motivations will you lean on to keep you engaged throughout the process? It might be a good idea to write these down somewhere so you can remember and reflect back on them throughout the process. As a mentee, we want to make sure that you're also set up for success by sharing with you the characteristics of a successful mentee. Based on research of other mentorships and reflection over previous years of the NSCA Women's Committee Mentorship Program, we've nailed down the top 4 traits that we believe to be the most indicative of a successful mentee. The first trait to consider is trustworthiness. We all know that great relationships are built on foundation of trust. But the question is, how is this trust first developed? For the purpose of our mentorship, we believe vulnerability is the cornerstone for trust to be built upon. So what does vulnerability within your mentorship experience look like? Being open to sharing things that might seem a bit vulnerable with your mentor allows them a chance to build your trust. We recognize that this may not necessarily feel easy, and we want you to use your discretion in choosing what and when to share, but we also don't want this to be something you shy away from. By opening up to your mentor, You can begin to show your mentor that you do trust them, which builds their confidence in the mentee-mentor relationship. In a similar but opposite manner, if your mentor decides to share a vulnerable story or anecdote with you, respect their willingness to be open with you by keeping that information to yourself. This allows you to show your mentor that you can be trusted. Given that this mentorship centers around growth and advancement in our respective careers, it is vital that you display a certain level of professionalism throughout. The first and arguably the easiest to show a sense of professionalism is to make it a priority to be on time for each session. This shows your mentor that you are excited to speak with them and that you respect their time. The second way we can strive for professionalism is by being consistent in our effort. It's important to recognize that your mentor is volunteering their time and energy to be your aid in this experience. With that in mind, we want to encourage you to give 100% of your effort and attention to your mentor each time that you meet with them. This again shows that you respect their time. It also displays a level of appreciation for the work that they're putting in for your benefit. Lastly, whenever conflicts arise, be sure to be communicative. Conflicts are sure to pop up from time to time, and occasionally they're even unexpected. When this happens, communicate what's going on with your mentor. Work with them to find solutions or alternative options. Remember, your mentor is sacrificing their time to pour into you as a mentee. We want to make sure you respect that choice by always communicating conflicts with them in an appropriate amount of time. The next characteristic of a successful mentee is preparedness. Imagine this scenario. You show up for your first meeting with your mentor, only to realize that they are completely unprepared. You can tell that they aren't ready to engage in a meaningful conversation with you, and unfortunately, the session ends up not being as beneficial as it could have been. Sounds frustrating, doesn't it? It's extremely important that your mentor does whatever preparation necessary prior to each session so that you both can benefit from the conversation. On the flip side, it is equally as important that you come prepared to each session for you and your mentor. Prior to the mentorship experience, and even prior to each meeting, you'd have goals prepared for yourself. These should be specific and attainable, and you should be able to articulate them if given the chance. We also want to encourage that you have an agenda of things you'd like to work through. This can include problems that you might be having or skill areas that you feel could be most improved. And it will probably go hand in hand with the goals you create. This can be done on a macro scale prior to the start of the mentorship. It can also be tailored down to a micro level for each individual meeting. This not only keeps you aligned with your goals, but it also helps provide direction for each conversation. The last piece of preparedness is having tools ready to take notes for each time that you meet with your mentor, whether that be a pen or paper or electronic. This shows interest and engagement in what your mentor has to say. It also will help you to absorb more of the information that you're learning throughout the process. The last characteristic that we want to touch on is appreciation. We've already mentioned the importance of recognizing the time that your mentor is putting in for your benefit. With this in mind, we want to encourage you to practice gratitude for this gesture. A simple thank you can go a long way in showing your mentor that you appreciate them and their efforts. Now that you've learned about the practices and traits that make for a successful and meaningful mentorship experience, we want to conclude with a final reflection. Take some time to answer these 3 questions before moving on to the next video. What are my takeaways from this video? What information do I still have questions about? Has this video sparked any new questions or ideas that I should investigate further?